This is page 21 in the textbook. And in this in this exercise, we are comparing two passages. So there's a new mind map for this skill. But first, let's read the two passages, and I am going to highlight as I go. One word that describes Big Bend National Park is remote. Another word is dangerous. Civilization is about 100 miles away. As you drive to the park, you might not meet another car for miles and miles. The Chisos Mountains rise above the desert. Mountain lions and black bears roam the mountains. Different kinds of cactus and rattlesnakes populate the desert. Passage 2. If you want to get away from it all, Big Bend National Park is the perfect spot. This large park offers scenic mountains and deserts and the Rio Grande and its canyons. The nearest large town is over 100 miles away, so its lights don't affect the night sky. You'll see millions of stars, including the Milky Way above you. From wildflowers to wildlife, Big Bend contains plants and animals you might not have seen before. And here's a picture, here's a graphic of the canyon, of a canyon. It's beautiful. Okay, let's compare these two passages. And to do that, I want you to draw over to the left side of your paper a big circle. Let me try that again. You can trace the bottom of a coffee cup, or you can just freehand. It doesn't matter to me. And then I'm going to make another one just like it, but I want you to overlap them so it looks like this. This is called a Venn diagram. VENN, a Venn diagram. You can use this anytime you are comparing two things. So I'm going to put passage 1 on this circle and passage 2 on this circle. And then in the middle, we're going to put things that are in both passages. So your comparing happens in the center, and your contrasting happens on the edges of the circle. So, the first detail that I highlighted is Big Bend National Park. Now, both of these passages are about that. So, I'm going to abbreviate Big Bend National Park. That's the topic of both passages. It's not the main idea of both passages, but it is the topic of both passages. Okay. The next thing is passage 1. Two words that describe Big Bend are remote and dangerous. Passage 2 doesn't say that. That's just passage 1. So I'm going to put that over in this circle. Remote, dangerous. Okay. Civilization is about 100 miles away. That is mentioned in both of them, that they are 100 miles from town. You might not meet another car for miles and miles. That's passage 1. Okay. The Chisos Mountains rise above the desert. So this passage mentions the mountain range by name. There are mountain lions and black bears. And really we can say this is both. The other passage doesn't mention them by name, but they do mention animals. So let's go ahead and put that in this circle as well. Cactus and rattlesnakes are also mentioned. Okay. Now let's look at passage 2. If you want to get away from it all, Big Bend National Park is the perfect spot. So this author is saying that the park is perfect spot to get away. It offers scenic mountains. Scenic is a positive thing. That means that the views are beautiful. It's a good thing. Deserts. The Rio Grande, that's a river. And canyons. But this author believes those things are good things. The nearest large town is over 100 miles away. That's a common thing. But this says that lights don't block millions of stars. The other passage didn't mention lights or stars. Wildflowers, wildlife, so we could say that both of them mention plants. But passage 2 mentions it in a good way. So you can see that even though both authors are talking about the same topic, their points of view are very different. The author of passage 1 says that this is a dangerous, remote place. Passage 2 says it's the perfect place to get away. So even though they have some similarities, the point of view is very different. And there were no questions about this particular one, so I'm going to stop this video. This was just to show you how to use a Venn diagram. And in the next video, we will practice using another Venn diagram to read about Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton.